Boys. Hey, you. Are you ready? He's not ready. You're not ready. It's time, boys. Football is finally here. It's finally time for my predictions. I know y'all been waiting for them. Figured I'd put my predictions up here so that way we can all relax, sit back in January, and realize that I am right. All right, now for the AFC South, man. Who's in the AFC South? Jacksonville Jaguars. I mean, I kind of expect the same that they've gave us the last few years. Somewhat competitive, maybe makes the playoffs, maybe doesn't, but really no serious threat. People still acting like Trevor's the next coming of Jesus while he's just handing out turnovers like it's going out of style. Honestly, I actually would say he's paid to turn the ball over because, hey, they made him the highest paid quarterback based on your performance and what you do for the team. And what's he been doing? He's just been turning the ball over. Hey, who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he takes a huge leap this year. I hope he does. All right, now for the Houston Texans. So I expect CJ Stroud to kind of like take that next step and prove that his rookie year wasn't a fluke at all. And honestly, it kind of looks like Houston's going to have a firm grasp on that AFC South spot for a while. Because like, who else is out there? The Titans and the Colts, right? I mean, I'm really interested to see what Anthony Richardson does coming back from his injury in his second year. See if he takes a leap forward, but they really just don't have the roster to do anything, even if he is actually good. And the Titans, I mean, same old story, right? Middle of the road, really haven't had a good quarterback since Steve McNair. Hey, who else saw that Netflix documentary? It's called Air McNair, I think it was. It was one of those untold documentaries. Crazy though. So we got the AFC East. And off the top, this is probably one of the toughest to choose an actual winner because most of the teams are competitive, but none are like the clear-cut favorites. So the New York Jets, no question, their biggest problem besides Aaron just not being on the field was their offensive line. And they went out and made probably the biggest acquisition they could have made in offensive line in Tyron Smith from the Dallas Cowboys. Now, Tyron has been one of the best tackles in all of football for a long time now, but he's also missed 23 games just over the last 3 seasons. There was a reason why Dallas was willing to let him go. This team's defense, though, was so good last year. I mean, they won a bunch of games they shouldn't have, even with Zach Wilson at the helm, which kind of makes me want to pick them as the winner. I think they're going to have a rough start Monday night against San Francisco, but logically speaking, if Aaron Rodgers is just solid, I mean, that's plenty to get them to the playoffs and to win the division. And yeah, we can say that it's only been a few years since Aaron Rodgers won league MVP, but when you're 40 years old, those 3 years hit a lot harder. Miami Dolphins, they lost 4 of their starting veterans. They added some competent replacements, but really no like showstoppers. They still have a lethal offense, but you're also wondering like, how much better can they actually get without any significant upgrades to their offense or defense? Make no mistake, I think Tua is a good quarterback, but they still couldn't even close out the AFC East last year with as good of a start as they did. I mean, dang, they dropped 70 on Denver, but even so, they still couldn't close out the division. So what is it that's really going to put them over the top this year? I just don't see it. Hopefully they prove me wrong because they're exciting to watch. Of course, the Buffalo Bills lost Stephon Diggs, huge loss for them this year, but they added Keon Coleman in the draft. Even if Keon Coleman is awesome this year, I mean, can you replace Stephon Diggs that quickly? So the Bills, as always, just relying too much on Josh Allen, even with how great he is. And their defense that was riddled with injuries last year already lost Matt Milano indefinitely. He's out with a bicep injury, and they don't even know if he's going to be able to play at all this year. Lastly, the Patriots. I mean, come on, man. The Patriots have now joined the rest of us in bragging about our team's history. All right, next we got the AFC North. The regular season really hasn't been a problem for the Ravens for a while now, but they did lose Jadeveon Clowney, a huge part of their defense, and they also lost Patrick Queen to the Steelers, as well as one of their most reliable linemen in Kevin Zeitler. But the offense, Zay Flowers has another year under his belt. They got a big upgrade in Derrick Henry. He's a little older at 30 years old now, but defenses now got to worry about Lamar and Derrick Henry, so kind of pick your poison. Henry could have a really good year this year. And the Browns, you know, if it wasn't such a competitive division, and if Deshaun actually started playing like it's back in Houston, they might be able to do something, but with that being the case, and also Burrow being back in Cincinnati, they just really don't have a shot at winning the division. Do they get in a wild card? Maybe. The Steelers are actually one of the more interesting teams and stories in the NFL this year. The addition of Russell Wilson, and then adding Justin Fields in a quarterback competition. While they do have a stout defense and like a solid offense, they just have one of the most brutal schedules I've seen, but it also points to how tough that division is. And I'm sorry to say, no disrespect, but I really think they needed to move on from Mike Tomlin. Legendary coach, but in today's NFL, and a defensive coach, no matter how good he is, without like a top tier quarterback, you can really only go so far. But hey, I'm ready to ride with Russell, baby. Should be a fun year. All right, for my pick, Cincinnati Bengals. So the Bengals got Slim Joe Shady Burrow back in the building, but unfortunately they did lose Joe Mixon. And just to put it plainly, hey, I believe in that blonde hair. I actually think he dyed it just so people would make fun of him and talk and just to fuel that fire. But yeah, I think he's gonna get back to showing people why he's one of the best. And honestly, man, we've been missing some good quarterback play. And last but definitely not least, the AFC West. Now, the Raiders are looking to cook up some of that Minshew magic, which is pretty fitting because he kind of has like that Ryan Fitzpatrick, Fitzmagic aura about him, doesn't he? Like he can ball out, but he's not really like a franchise quarterback that you want to fully invest in. And the Raiders aren't really like a terrible team, but I just don't think they're good enough to really come out on top in that division. Who knows though? I'd love to see Minshew stun into the playoffs. Stadium's dope though. And the Los Angeles Chargers, man, I just think Herbert can't catch a break. He's clearly talented, but either has a lot of weapons, has a bad coach, and then finally gets a good coach. Now he doesn't really have a lot of weapons. But hey, if he's as talented as everybody says he is, he should be able to make something happen, especially with Jim Harbaugh at the helm now. Question is it going to be good enough to win the division? I don't think it will be, but hey, I love Harbaugh, so I hope they prove me wrong. Full disclosure, I'm a huge Jim Harbaugh fan because he came and turned around the 49ers when they were just absolutely terrible. And he did all that in a year, so hopes up to the Chargers fans out there. Now, the Broncos seem to love Bo Nix, but kind of like some other teams out there, they just don't really have enough guys to be competitive, even if he is a solid quarterback. Plus, it's really more of a rebuild year for them, and then, Sean Payton's still trying to turn that whole organization around. And the Chiefs, man, I mean, what can I really say? It's the Chiefs. They're probably going to win. As much as I want to take a risky play and try to say somebody else, like Chargers maybe or something, I'm just going to be wrong. You just can't bet against them, man. So maybe when you finally bet for them, they finally lose. So hey, I'm going Chiefs, but it's just because I'm still salty over that Super Bowl. As you guys know, this isn't the usual type of content on this channel, but hey, figured I'd put them up for some fun. I'll be putting out some NFC predictions as well, but as always, I'm Marty. I'll catch you guys later.